It's a beautiful morning. Although it's not morning anymore, it's an afternoon. Just a beautiful day in general because it's a Steelers victory Monday. We got our offense cooking yesterday, 400 yards for the first time in 50 something games. Pickett looked like his former self, if not the best version of himself. But the big question going forward is this sustainable? Or rather, what is the next step for the Steelers offense? What could be the ceiling? What could be its potential? And that's what we're going to discuss. But first, let's get into Steelers Deekly. Let's get into, I think I got like 4 or 5 things here that's circulating across the internet in relation to the Steelers. Some of it has to do with yesterday's game. Some of it has to do with before yesterday's game, some of the drama between Diontae and Minkah. Got some fun stats for you. But first, Matt Canada. Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reported that Canada would not let the offensive assistants be involved in game planning. My response is, based off of yesterday's performance by the Steelers offense, that was the wrong decision because an offense led by Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan resulted in our best offense in 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever you want to say. So maybe Matt Canada should have given more credit to our offensive assistants and asked for their input more. But here's what here's what Tomlin said, but here's what Dulac reported exactly word for word. Says one of the things that Matt Canada did not do was involve the assistant coaches in the game plan. But going forward, he says that's going to be Eddie Faulkner's job. Organizing the staff, that was Mike Tomlin's words, and that's what he's doing. Sounds like Canada was running a dictatorship over these last 2.5 years and calling the offense. Like, did he ask Ben for any input on the game plans? I hope to God he did, considering Ben's a Hall of Fame quarterback and Matt Canada was a middling college offensive coordinator. Never did anything in the NFL, but for some reason we gave him the reins, we gave him the keys, and this is what, has happened over the last 2.5 years with Matt Canada calling the plays and being the offensive coordinator. If anything, we should have fired him midway through Ben's final season. I say week 2 into Ben's final season after that Raiders game, once he and the offensive line allowed Ben to get hit like 8 or 9 times, get blasted. But I digress. Now let's get into this Diontae situation. We all know the play that is getting the most mentions today, that's getting the most traction. And that's the one where we ran the ball with Jaylen Warren. That's after, I believe, isn't this the play? It was the play or two after Diontae dropped the touchdown pass. He did get the 3 feet in. He did technically get the catch by rule, but we didn't get the challenge in quick enough, and it was incomplete. And yeah, it was the play or two after that. We handed off to Jaylen Warren. He fumbles, and you see Diontae. As soon as the ball snapped, he doesn't really move. He just walks a little bit. And then Warren's getting tackled. The ball gets loose. And he just acts like the play is over and nonchalantly is just walking back to the huddle. Meanwhile, the Cincinnati player that recovered the fumble is running for another 20, 30 yards. So a lot of people are putting Diontae on blast today. Like a lot of people. I was seeing on Good Morning Football. You're seeing it on social media. I think Taylor Lewan, didn't he go on like Kay Adams' show and just put Diontae on blast? Like, yeah, this is unacceptable. You can't have players like that on your team. Can we give Diontae the benefit of the doubt? When has he not shown effort on plays? I believe him when he says that he didn't see Jaylen Warren's fumble, as you could see in the top tweet by Chris Adamski. Diontae says he didn't see Jaylen Warren's fumble, that so many have said he didn't try to recover. I believe him. Can we give the dude the benefit of the doubt? Can you pull up one other play where he hasn't shown full effort out there? And I guess you could go back to the beginning of the play and say, yo, what kind of blocking is that? What were you trying to do there? Why didn't you even try to run a route to disguise it for the defense or go up to the cornerback and try to block? Maybe that was his way of doing it because that cornerback had nothing to do with the play. At least we could say that. If Jaylen Warren started to run over to that direction, Diontae probably would have tried to block him. I would guess, right? I would guess. Then Diontae also went on to say that the media, this happened literally like 24 hours before the Steelers-Cincy game. The whole Minkah Fitzpatrick, Diontae got into a little bit of a fight in the locker room. I think it wasn't anything physical, just like a verbal exchange, because Diontae was going after the coaching staff. Minkah jumped in, and then Cam Hayward, TJ had to come in and break it up. Diontae said the media is making way too much of it. And I also agree with him there too, because when the report came out, I was like, this timing is very interesting. This timing is very funny because we're going into our first game without our former offensive coordinator, our first game with new play callers and everything. We have like a breath of fresh air going on around the organization, around the team. Everyone's excited. And then all of a sudden, this randomly drops 24 hours. Don't think it's coincidence. I think they were trying to kill the vibes, trying to bring negativity to this team, to this locker room. And I don't think it was warranted, especially since the Deontay Johnson stuff already came out after the Browns game. It literally came out. It was Sunday and I think into Monday, right? The report that he got into it with the coaching staff. So this aftermath of him getting into it with Minkah and TJ and Cam having to break it up, that's not surprising. This is the NFL. Things can get heated. Things can get said. So it was just weird timing from my standpoint. I think people tried to make way too much of it. And now after a win, it's completely an afterthought. But here's what Diontae said yesterday. Said it ain't really nothing. You all are the outside looking in. That's my brother at the end of the day. We're passionate about the game. Everyone wants to win. So you all look at it as we had an all-out brawl or whatever. It ain't that. So don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Football players on every team talk junk to each other. So we squashed it. We won the game today, and that's all that matters. Amen. Next, Mike Tomlin. On this has to do with Diontae. This is the catch that was not ruled a catch, but could have been challenged and probably would have been reversed. He got the 3 feet down, but didn't finish the catch. And what's funny about this, what's ironic about this, is the rule for what is legally a catch was changed because of the Jesse James play in the Patriots game, like in 2017. And we have a play right here that, based off that rule change, would have been a legal catch. And we didn't even get to take advantage of it. Like Jesse James and us were the reason the rule was made, and we got the negative effect of it before the rule. And now that the rule's in place, we missed out on it. And here's what Tomlin had to say. Because the officials were definitive, I lost vision of it. He's talking about why he didn't challenge it. There were people between me and him. I couldn't count steps. They didn't give us another shot at it in stadium, so they didn't put it up on the replay. There's a conspiracy for you right there. And we couldn't get a quick enough look at it up top. Sometimes that happens when you're on the road. Some games being on the road, some games being at home, those things even out in the big scheme of things. So what I thought initially from his quotes, because the full quote wasn't posted on Twitter, I was like, so Tomlin has like the end all be all say in what's getting challenged. Like, we're just going off of his eyes on the sideline. No wonder he misses so many challenges. No wonder. But then he said, we do look at it up top, and they're obviously trying to relay some message down to the sideline, down to Tomlin. I get it, because if things were happening way too quick and they didn't show the replay in the stadium, we didn't get to look at it quick enough up top, it didn't look like a catch live. Can we all agree with that? It didn't look like a catch. It looked like Diontae had it. Dude knocked it out. Incomplete. The completion of the catch did not happen. Or the what's that saying? The he didn't. Yeah, I think completing the catch. I'm messing it up. There's some type of phrasing that they had, and that's why they called Jesse James for the incompletion. Following the catch, completion of the catch. I'm botching the phrasing up so bad, but it didn't look like Diontae ultimately caught the ball. So I get it. I think we can give Tomlin a break here. And as he said right here, some games being on the road, some games being at home, those things even out in the big scheme of things. Now, quick stats for you. I thought these were cool after yesterday's game. TJ Watt doing TJ Watt things. Back as the NFL leader for sacks on the season, 13.5. Myles Garrett, only 13. I don't think he had one yesterday. I think he got banged up. But you look at the side-by-side. TJ Watt, more tackles. TJ Watt, more sacks. Only one less forced fumble, but then has 2 more fumble recoveries. Also has an interception. Myles Garrett has none. TJ Watt also has a touchdown for the season. Myles Garrett, none. 12 tackle for losses, the same. TJ Watt, more QB hits. But why does the NFL Twitter account just a couple weeks ago put Myles Garrett on their banner and ask the question if he's Defensive Player of the Year? Why? Why does it seem across NFL circles they prefer Myles Garrett consistently over TJ Watt? They think he's the better player. Don't know. Don't know, because even on a year for TJ Watt where we'd say, I think he's leaving some more out there. He could be doing better. He has 13.5 sacks, a touchdown, a pick, 3 forced fumbles, 25 QB hits. Like, he's the best defensive player in the game. Now, here's the question, though, because Matthew's caption here reads, TJ is on his way to another Defensive Player of the Year. I do agree with him in that he's the best defensive player in the league, hence should get the Defensive Player of the Year. The problem is that dude for the Cowboys has 5 pick sixes. That's tough. That might distract the voters into picking him over TJ Watt. But we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Hopefully if TJ breaks the sack record, I think you got to give it to him. I think you have to. So he is 13.5. We have 6 more games. He just gets a sack a game. That gets him to 19.5, almost 20. But you got to factor in some multi-sack games for him. So he could get 23. He definitely could. Can we get another touchdown thrown in there from TJ? Right now, it's probably between him, Garrett, obviously, just because the national media just goes crazy for Myles Garrett for whatever reason, even though TJ Watt is in the same division as Myles Garrett and is the better edge rusher. But yeah, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and I'm sure that dude from the Cowboys is going to get some serious consideration for the 5 pick sixes. How about this one? Your quarterback broke the GOAT's record for most passes without an interception. 208 pass attempts for Kenny Pickett since he threw a pick. The last one was against the Texans, and that was what? Was that week 4? It was week 4, where he threw the one to Steven Nelson with that post route across the middle. Also hasn't lost a fumble, so he's gone 7 straight games without a single turnover. There isn't a single quarterback with a longer streak since 2018. Aaron Rodgers with 8 per NFL on CBS. So to my previous points when talking about Kenny Pickett, the one thing that you could definitely say he was doing well, outside of the fourth quarter and how he would step up with the game-winning drives and the clutch and all that, the one thing you could say he's done well for most of the season is protect the football. And you can't tell me that hasn't contributed to some of these Steelers wins. So shout out to Pickett. Got a little record on his name. Lastly, in terms of stats, I just thought this was interesting because we've seen both of these running backs have their moments. Jaylen Warren, over the last 3 weeks, didn't he have the most rushing yards out of any running back for the last 3 weeks? And it's impressive because we barely give him the ball. He broke that one last week against the Browns. And Najee Harris, to his credit, is coming into his own for some of these games, particularly last one, almost at 100 yards on the ground. I just want to check out their stats. Like, how good are both of these backs doing as a duo and what is possible for these last 6 weeks? Najee Harris, it is kind of small. I'm sorry about that. Najee has almost 600 yards right now, and this is his best yards per carry for his whole career. So as much as I've been ripping on Najee, right, this is the most efficient he's been. And this is with Matt Canada being the coordinator. This is with the offensive line regressing. I guess we got to give Najee some props. Jaylen Warren, he's at 542, 3 touchdowns. So we have 6 more games left. Again, is 1,000 possible for both of these guys? Is 1,000 possible? 6 games. That means basically 400 yards for Najee because he's at 600. Jaylen Warren, that's going to be like 450, 460 in 6 games. I think Najee gets it just because we give him the ball more than Jaylen. But Jaylen could definitely get around 800-900. He'll get around 1,000 total yards because look at his receiving, 247. So good for these guys. And I was thinking too, as I was creating this little graphic with these stats, the Najee apology form comes out next week if he has another game like he did against the Bengals, because I will sign it. And the box that I will check as my reason for apology is Matt Canada was calling the plays and made things way too predictable whenever 22 was out there. That will be my reason. I just need to see it one more game. I know I came on strong yesterday and was talking very highly of Pickett and was calling out all the Pickett haters. I need one more game for Najee, and then I'll break out the apology form. You guys have my word. And that'll be the reason, because we had Matt Canada as the coordinator. But these two as a tandem, man, they keep doing this. This is exactly what we expected. Honestly, the offense we saw yesterday was exactly what I expected and what we expected going into the season. And it was beautiful to see. But we'll talk about that more. Let me check in with you guys. How's everyone doing today? I am doing excellent. Doing very, very good. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Ooh. Marvin Emba. How about JPJ for Defensive Rookie of the Year? I'd have to look into that. Is there a case? There probably could be a case. Sauce Gardner won it last year, and he didn't really have that many interceptions. He was just locked down. JPJ, is there any debate? He's been locked down. Absolutely been locked down. I got to look into that. Does anyone else have a case? What's Will Anderson doing down with the Texans? But no, Jay. Knowledge proven why he is RB1. Yeah, keep running like that. It's still got to at least be 50-50. At least. Because I've been saying Jaylen Warren's RB1. He should be getting 70 to 80% of the touches. But even if Najee keeps running like he has been, we still got to get Jaylen Warren the ball. It should, no matter what, be a 50-50 split. No matter what. Jalen Carter's being brought up. Brian Branch. Didn't Brian Branch get hurt? Did he come back? I saw one game he got hurt, and it looked bad. I know Branch has been making plays out there. We knew he was going to be a good player. A lot of us knew heading into the draft. That's why we thought the Steelers should be interested. But now Jay says, speaking on rookies, I'm glad to see we got a future edge rusher in Nate Herbig. I think you mean Nick Herbig, right? Easy to get the names mixed up, though. Yeah, he had a sack yesterday. I think he's got 2 on the season. Does he have 2.5? Dominique Scott. Linebacker room is looking better than I thought with all the injuries. Thoughts? Absolutely. I gave the defense as a whole a shout out yesterday because we got a bunch of no names in there. Bunch of unsung dudes that are afterthoughts, but they're playing well. Michael Walker, you got Trenton Thompson. The Landon Roberts is stepping up. And he was just part of that 3-man rotation. And I would say if you had to rank the 3 between Quan, Cole, and a Landon, you'd have a Landon as the 3rd guy. Just in terms of importance. Now, Landon would have some incredible games when they were doing that rotation. Some really good tackles for loss, laying some big hits. But Cole and Quan are just better all-around linebackers. But Landon's stepping up, too. Landon's stepping up. We made the signings with Myles Jack, Blake Martinez. I'll be interested to see when we see them. Be real interested. What else we got? Okay, Dre Burns says the Calvin Johnson rule. See, yeah, we're talking about the Deontay Johnson catch. And then Ain't You D-Boy says complete it through the fall. That's not the phrasing. What's the phrasing, though? That's not it either. That's a better description than what I was trying to come up with, though. Way better explanation. Mavman51, thoughts on the next OC? My response to that is basically Tomlin's response. We're just trying to win next week. Let's just focus on next week. Because if everything plays out the way we want it to with this offense, like, why don't we just roll with Faulkner and Sullivan into next year? Obviously, we would give one of those 2 dudes the OC title. But yeah, let's wait and see how this season plays out. Stick God says, Deke, they let Kenny cook. Absolutely. And you see what happened. See what happened. The formula for the offense is simple. We have too much talent. Let Kenny cook. Let him get it to our talented players at receiver and at tight end and Pat Fryermuth, and run the ball. It's not a hard concept at all. Not a hard concept. Yeah, Frank Reich just got fired. Ngums 0512 says Frank Reich for OC. Dude, let's just be on to next week. That's all. That's all. We're coming off of an awesome offensive performance. I don't want to hear about Frank Reich. I'm good. I'm good on that. Kareem Talley says, wish we could bring in Shaq Leonard. He's looking at the Cowboys. I saw he's visiting with them today. All right, let's get into the main topic here. And that is, what's next for this Steelers offense? What is its potential? And I want to hear from you guys, because I was posed this question, or I was given this as the topic, and I thought about it. I was like, man, the offense looked really good. What is the next step, or what is the potential? So I would like to hear from you guys. Let me know in the chat. Based off yesterday's game, what more do you still want to see from this offense? What do you think it's missing? Because I'll be honest with you. After watching yesterday's game, I liked pretty much everything I saw. And we talked about it in the stream yesterday, the post-game report. Like, we got everything we were looking for. We got everything we were expecting from this offense. From the players that we have on this offense, this is everything we were looking for. We got timely deep shots. We also utilized the middle of the field. We got the talent, the ball, and got the talent early. Like after the first two series, Diontae wasn't getting the ball like that. Pickens wasn't getting the ball. We throw a screen pass to him. All right, let's just try to get this in rhythm. Pickens, we got a little 5-yard curl route for you. Let's just get you the ball and see what happens. And ultimately, both Pickens and Diontae had solid games with how it all played out. And that's what we're looking for. Muth, best game of his career, I think. Unless you want to include some of his games where he had multiple touchdowns with Ben. But man, 120 yards, 9 receptions. Got it to our players, got it to our talent. And we utilized getting the ball to Muth. We utilized the middle of the field. But yeah, those three right there. Timely deep shots, utilized the middle of the field, got the talent, the ball. But also we ran the ball effectively and efficiently with our 2 running backs. We knew we had a 1-2 punch, a thunder lightning punch with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris coming into the season, but we're never really able to figure it out, at least on a consistent basis. We'd have some one-offs where they'd go off for like a quarter or two. Jaylen Warren would break off a big run against the Browns, or like the fourth quarter against the Rams, where we run the ball really nice with those two. But for a full game, like we did yesterday against Cincy, we've been missing that. And then we protect the quarterback. The offensive line did good. Not only in the pass game, but also in the running game. The stats are all there. Like I brought up all the stats. We had 22 first downs. We had the time of possession, 37 minutes to 22 for the Bengals. We had it for 37 minutes. We had over 400 yards of total offense. Kenny threw for almost 300 yards. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren combined for $150. We were good on third downs, almost 50%. What else are we looking for? Like this, I think this is our potential. Yes, we can get better. There's a play or two to be had still that we left out there for sure. But I feel like this is it. We just need to keep building off this, get better off of this. So like the 2 things I would say, and then not turn the ball over. Sorry, an ad popped up here. Do better and not turn the ball over. That's it. And he's been doing a good job of that. He already popped up the stat. No interceptions for his last 208 attempts. But Jaylen Warren put the ball on the ground. We could have had points there, either touchdown or field goal. And then we got to execute better in the red zone. We got to get more touchdowns. That's it. We talked about that going back to last year. Whenever our offense was cruising, we were controlling the clock and everything. We're leaving points out there. But ultimately, our offense, I thought, had an identity, looked solid end of 2022. And we got back to that this game and better because this offense showed upside. This offense showed flash that we haven't seen. 400 yards of total offense. We haven't seen that for the last 50 games. We finally did yesterday. So, like, when I look at those numbers, it's like top 10, right? The first downs, the total offense, time of possession, that's like top 10 offense type of stuff. So I think that's where we can get. We just gotta keep playing like this, and obviously put more points up on the board, but that goes to the red zone stuff. And I think Cincy getting lucky on offense had something to do with it too, because that enabled them to sustain an drive or two that they probably shouldn't have. They had no business doing, which would have given our offense another opportunity or two. But yeah, man, I think we're there. I think we're there. Just based off of yesterday's game. Like, this is what I'm looking for going forward. And we just showed we could do it. Just keep doing it now. Because I'm good with this pretty much being what we do going forward. And what I also like too is us getting more of those 3 tight end sets out there. Now Muth has been hurt for the majority of the season, so we haven't really been able to do that. But now that he's healthy, you got to see I probably saw 6 or 7 times where it was Muth out there, Connor Hayward, and Darnell Washington. And we weren't just successful running the ball by having those formations. We also did some play action. We also did some passing. So I'd say, like, bottom line answer, offense could be top 10. Why not? We have talent. We have the talent, and that's been the most frustrating part with how we've been in this purgatory, with how we've been so stale on offense. We got talent. Now, a lot of people don't wanna believe that Kenny has talent, but no, he's talented. Aren't those throws yesterday evidence of that? Those are the throws he was making in the preseason. Down the field, carving up the middle of the field. As one of you guys said in the comment, let Kenny cook, and that's what he's capable of. Let Kenny cook. And he was even throwing passes to the sidelines. Some of those Moose passes, bro, like, these are thrown on a rope. There's not much separation between Moose and the cornerback or whoever the safety, whoever was covering him. There wasn't much separation. Kenny was putting it right there. Absolute dimes. So talk to me. What am I missing here? What am I missing? If we just do what we did yesterday, put a couple more points up on the board, get better in the red zone, don't turn the ball over. That's an awesome offense, no? That is an awesome offense we could work with. Wax says, if this team can even become a top 15 offense, I think we got potential for a playoff run. Absolutely. I mean, we have potential for a playoff run even playing as a bad offense. We went 6-4. Now we start doing this. Mavman51, this is what he wants to see. 475 total yards, 300 passing, 175 running, 3 touchdowns passing, 1 running. Johnson's Pickens, and Najee on the ground for a touchdown. Okay. That's what you see is like the next level. Like this is what we could get. So obviously, based off of yesterday, we're not far away from that. We had a $150 on the ground. Kenny almost had 300 passing. We just didn't have the touchdowns. And I'm assuming you don't need to see 3 touchdowns passing. It could be just 4 total touchdowns, whether it's 2 passing, 2 running, 1 passing touchdown, 3 running. It could be whatever. But yeah, 4 solid touchdowns where we get 28 points off touchdowns. Yeah, yeah, I think that's possible. Absolutely possible. And, you get a field goal or 2 from Boz, then you're in the 30s. 3 touchdowns, a game where you have 3 touchdowns, couple field goals, you're at, like, 27. How we operated yesterday, that's within reach. Should've done it yesterday. Should've. Uh, Base God Nitty 24 says, "What about that Allen Robinson play?" What play are you talking about? Is it a Kenny pass to him? And that's the other thing. And Coleman 10, I like that you brought up this. Because we're missing Minkah, offense is gonna grow. Dude, Look how good the defense has been playing since the bye. Look how good the defense has been picking up our offense, keeping us in games. It's been without our second best player on that side of the ball, Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's with our inside linebackers getting decimated. Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander being out for the year. So Minkah's coming back. We signed Myles Jack. We signed Blake Martinez. Michael Walker so far, although he's not playing bad. So maybe that spot isn't up for grabs right now. Cam Hayward, finally back. The rust is definitely off. Like you could tell the rust was off with him. I think after the second game, Packers game, he was making some plays. So we got our full defensive line healthy. TJ, Highsmith, Nick Herbig getting in on the action. The edge rushers are there. We just got to make sure our inside linebacker unit's solidified. Minkah's coming back. JPJ is locked down. Patrick Peterson turned back the clock. He's playing the best ball he's been, as a Steeler. It seems like things are coming into place. Defense, like, we're talking about the offense getting better. I guess this is my main point. The defense should only be getting better too. The defense is playing awesome. So watch out. Watch out. And common sense says Thompson is legit. We need our general Minkah. They're balling. Herbig, shout out. Cannon. Yeah. You know what? I brought up this point yesterday too with Trenton Thompson. He keeps playing like this. Well, Demonte Casey said Minkah's gonna be back. So that's gonna be interesting in and of itself. Like, how does the playing time shift? I guess Thompson's still gonna get some PT with Keanu Neal being on IR. But yeah, I still think there might be snaps for Thompson to be had. Move Minkah up into the slot here or there, have Thompson back there, Casey. There's ways to configure this. Madman 51 says these unpredictable situations giving me wait, vibes, but in Kenny's way. Defense getting a boost with Minkah back and offense finding themselves at the right time. Yep. You just gotta keep doing it. And there's no reason why we can't. We got the Cardinals, Patriots the next 2 games. And then who's after the Patriots? Don't we go on the road? Yeah, road at Indy and back at home against the Bengals a couple days before Christmas. Away at Seattle. Yeah, our probably 2 toughest games the rest of the way are away at Seattle and then away at Baltimore. Those are gonna be our last 2. That Baltimore one literally might be for the division. Might even be for the 1 seed too, depending how these other teams in the AFC play. Chiefs, Jaguars, we'll see. They got tougher schedules than us, that's all I know. We're gonna have tougher games the rest of the stretch. We can't have any Tomlin losses though. We gotta build off this, not take anyone for granted. Base God Netty 24 says, "How you feel about Pappy now?" Perfect compliment to JPJ. Perfect. He's playing awesome. Oh, yeah, I did see this. Yade World says, "Deke, did you see Marcus Peters got cut?" Yeah, I did. I feel like we got everything in place, though. I did talk about trying to trade for Marcus Peters before the trade deadline, but things feel good. Shannon Sullivan in the slot. With Minkah coming back, you can bump him into the slot. Pat P, he's showing versatility. We're moving him all around out there. JPJ is like our CB1. Levi Wallace as our CB3. I don't mind as much. Like, if we sign Marcus Peters, he'd probably be our CB3. But a guy of Marcus Peters' caliber and pedigree, is he just gonna walk in and be cool with that? I don't know. Yeah, I'd say Marcus Peters is better than Levi, but how's that dynamic work? You're bringing in a all-pro, Pro Bowl type of guy, at least former all-pro, Pro Bowl type of guy. Middle of the season, I don't think it works. I don't really think we gotta make any moves. I think we made the moves that we had to make by signing Myles Jack on the practice squad and then bringing in Blake Martinez. You got Blake Martinez trying to be the Cole Holcomb replacement. Don't think he's as good as Cole Holcomb at this stage of the game, but at least he's proven to be, 140, 150 plus tackler throughout his career. And then you got Myles Jack being the Quan Alexander replacement. Don't think Myles Jack's as good as Quan Alexander, but that prototype is there. He can at least do Quan type of things in coverage. I don't know what else we need that bad. We just need Minkah to come back. Really, that's it. Base God Nitty, shout out to you, man. You've been heavy in the chat. He says he got cut for attitude reasons. Is that what they're saying? We got a Deontay Johnson trade. I think we're good. He said Connor Burt says, I think we're good. Trade Diontae for a second and third round pick and grab a middle linebacker, corner, receiver. No need to trade Diontae. No need to trade Diontae. The drops still do pop up more than we want. The running backwards stuff pops up more than we want. But he's a good player, man. He made a nice catch over the middle. Kenny threw it a little bit low. He had that really nice catch. Yade World says hashtag keep Diontae. Yeah, I'm on team keep Diontae still. Keep Diontae. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the offense though? I feel like I covered it. Marvin Mbus says more big plays. We got to see more big plays yesterday, but you just want more big plays. Maybe one or two more. Ain't you, D boy says I feel our offense will make major leaps in this game against the Cardinals. Should at home. Stick God says just build off that performance, get to a top five offense. Banel J, we know we can get down the field. We just need to figure out a better red zone attack. Yep. Dre Burns, I want to see what Washington can do more with the ball in his hands. I think he could be a solution to some of our red zone woes. He's tall, just get the ball up to him, almost like Big Ben did with Martavis. Like there'd be times Martavis just, but he would do the same thing with AB, and AB was 5'10". But yeah, we're down at the red zone, we're down at the 10. Get Darnell out in space, maybe. Get him in the slot, get him on the outside. Just throw it up to him. See what the mismatch could be. How about that? That's what I'm looking for next game. Red zone. Darnell Washington, and we did it with Muth for a play or two. We put Muth on the outside, which is fine because Muth is that type of receiver. Muth is that good. He can present a mismatch out there. How about we have Darnell get him, get him on a typical like tight end spot, end of the line, and we motion him out to the far outside. See who follows him. If it's a linebacker or something, it could be anyone, even if it's a quarterback. Whoever it is, no one's as tall or as big as Darnell Washington, and just throw it up to him. I point it to him. That's what I wanna see next game. That's what I'm calling for. Yade World wants Kenny to improve his pocket presence. I think he had good pocket presence yesterday. The line helped a lot with that. Now I know he had the one spin move, but he almost pulled it off. That's the thing. I know we rip on the spin move, but if he pulls it off and is able to make a completion down the field, then we're good with it. As long as he's not doing it too frequently. And yesterday, he only did it once. He tried to escape, Trey Hendricks. Did it only one time last game, but people made a really big deal about it. He just had nowhere to go. Myles Garrett was there in an instant, and then, who was the guy on the other side? Was it Zarius Smith? He was there in an instant too. Like, he was just trying to make a play. People were saying he coulda stepped up. No, Myles Garrett woulda sacked him. Alright, I'm outta here, guys. Shout out to you for, the input. The engagement in the chat always makes these streams better. Yeah, hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good time. Looking forward to this week's game against the Cardinals. I will be back Wednesday here. I think around the same time-ish. Noon. I think it's noon. I'll be back here Wednesday noon. Talk more Steelers. Talk whatever news pops up. And then, yeah, we'll be on to Sunday against AZ. But stay chilling, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace out.